we'll be discussing the problem which is faced by many machine learning engineers. When it comes to data management, it's of a hectic job. Consider a problem scenario where we need to detect an object. Now this object detection pipeline consider algorithms like YOLO, V5 and SSD expects a lot of data. What this Vertex AI offers us, we can create our data set here itself. We can label our data set and we can train a model on that labeled data set in the same pipeline. Like I have created this 2 data set. There will be the 2 things. Either you will have the annotation and you will don't have the annotations. I have created a data set Coco 128 which already has some annotation. The thing is we need to create a CSV which mentions what type of data I wanted to as a training image. This is the what type of data, training or testing, then class and then bounding boxes. You can get these details in their documentation as well. Once you have created the CSV, you have to convert your annotation things into this format, and you need to import from here. You can import your images from here itself. Let's check quickly how you can import the data. You will be getting 3 options, like whether you need to import from your computer, from the where you need. If you want to import the labels, you can import from this option. And if you already created data set from your bucket, you can import from here. You can import from images here. You can import labels from here. Label, that means I'm talking about this file. Once you have imported your data, you can see the data set like this. The data set you can see is with annotations. Creating a data set will come into 2 parts. Like we already have certain annotations, and the second one is like we don't have any annotation. You can annotate your data set from this tool itself. I'll select this image. I can add a certain label. I'll select which portion I need to select. I can create a label, and this thing you can explore this thing. It's very easy. This is the first thing. You can label your data, and if you don't want to label your data, you can offload the data into this labeling task. You need to provide certain instruction. Then this Vertex AI will label your data on behalf of you. For that, right now I'm not created any labeling task since it comes with a certain cost. I haven't tried that because I have some data which was already labeled. And now once you have created your data set, you need to create a training pipeline. Again, this training pipeline has 2 types. I have created this data set, this Coco data set, and this object detection. And object detection, if I want to train a new model, what I need to do is, since it's I already create a model, it's showing me this, but it comes with an option where you can actually create a model which is AutoML. It's their AutoML pipeline. In that pipeline, you don't worry about the model selection and the entire pipeline. You just need to simply provide the data set paths and the label paths, and the rest of the thing will taken care of this Vertex AI. At the end, you will get these things, like suppose you have these 2 classes, person and face. It will show that how much confident you are on the training data set, on the testing data set as well, since it has divided into the training and testing data set and validation data set. The accuracy of the data set you can see here. You can see the precision curve as well. The precision threshold as well. This type of metric it will show. And if you want to use this model, this AutoML pipelines model, then you need to deploy that model, and it will deploy that model in a particular instance. If you want, you need to write a few commands to get a prediction. You can see you have an option of batch prediction as well. It will give a batch prediction as well. It just you need to provide those images with a script. But the I think limitation of this AutoML pipeline is you can't actually download this model. Like I haven't seen any option for that. Whereas the another thing is you can actually customize your training pipeline, which I have created. Consider you want to create a training pipeline. This is of data. This is a COCO data set, and you can see the options here, like where you want to train your model with AutoML or the custom training. Right now we are seeing how we can train the model with the custom training. If I select the custom training model, here I have mentioned this image object detection, and then I'll continue with the custom training things. X, Y, Z. Now you have to select what it should be, like higher. You are expecting a higher accuracy or the faster prediction or higher accuracy. I just want a faster predictions. I'm going with that. Here you have two more options, like pre-built container, the custom container. Pre-built container, what means is you can actually use the containers which they created already. But for now, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create an entire pipeline for which was based on YOLO v5 architecture, where we will be training our model with YOLO v5. For that, I'm going to this custom container. Now we need to create a Docker image. For that, we need to deploy the Docker image into this container registry, and from there you can access this container. How we can do that is here I have created this. Here what I did is I have cloned this YOLO v5 repository, and I have written Docker command. Right now I'm reading this image, and after that I'm running this require commands in order to set up the YOLO v5 environment. So this then it will run the requirement txt, and then it will run the task.py. The entry point will be the task.py. Now what I have created this task.py. What it does is once that container will run, once that image will deploy in the container, and that container will run, and then this command I want to run. This is training command for YOLO v5. You can change this options and those things. Now you can see this new YAML file where I have mentioned the path of data. You can see here itself. So it's like, so since we are training our model on GCP, it has a provision that you can access your data set like this formats. For that, they actually enable the functionality of cloud first. With that, you can actually able to read the data from here as well. Like that particular instance, we're reading our data from this with this path. Mention that path, then it will be taking the train validation data set from here itself. And yeah, this is what the task.py does. It will train our model, and finally what we need to do is, what I want is, I want this run folder in this my bucket. I can visualize this run folder. Right. After I have mentioned the log, the training is completed. I have created that container image with this command G Cloud, and this it will create the Docker image, and it will deploy the Docker image into the GRC. And then I have selected this container images from this container registry where you can find this latest image. I have selected this. You can mention the data where you want your model and where you want to export your data set. And after that, I think there is no need to hyper tune your parameters. We can skip that, and just you can mention the compute and pricing. Computing, you can mention the nodes and those things. Let me get back. Let me take you to that option. If you go to this, you can select the machine. You can select the GPU as well. The Docker image which I have created has the setup of this PyTorch and those things. It will support for GPU as well. You need to make sure while you are creating your image that should support for the GPU. So even we can select the CPU as well. And once you are like done with that, you need to provide the sort of workers you want to allocate, and you can just mention the disk type. And once you are done with that, you can just simply continue. And you don't want to go through this, like we don't want this prediction container. Once the model training is done, you can actually visualize the logs as well while your training is in progress. But for now, I think since my model is already trained, we can simply see its outcome. Here in the task file, I mentioned whatever that will be in run folder, like model and those results will be stored in this bucket. So this is the bucket, and it save my data in run folder. Here ULAVify gives you F1 score, PR curves and those things, the training results at batch size, and here you can find your weights. This is how I have created the custom training pipeline with Vertex AI. This seems very cool because suppose after time there will be a drift in my input data, and I want to train my model again with a new input data. So what I do is I'll simply add those images, I'll label those images, and I'll simply run this commands. I can simply go to this training pipeline, and my model is ready. I can use that model.